Hari Om, Namaste to everyone, to all the Atma Jyotis. Welcome to Vidyaji, Shardaji, and Shailaji. They have joined us recently from this session to Nisargatta AVSC. We are expecting Narsimurti ji also to join. He's also joined newly to the group. Hopefully he'll join soon. But let us begin with the prayer and people can join in as they come. Is this AVSC process completely new to you, Vidyaji, Shardaji, and Shailaji?
No, Asuji. I'm in AVSC Vivekananda.
Okay. So.
I'm in Totapuri group, Venkatji's group.
Oh, Venkat's
AVSC,
group. Okay,
yeah,
wonderful,
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
Thank you. Venkat is my good friend. Yes. So wonderful. Let's begin with the prayer. Babuji, would you like to start with the prayer?
Om Shri Sadguru Devaya Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Vavat Sahanau Bhunakt Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Narayana Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Maneji, would you please chant Gurur Brahma?
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Murtiji, Akhanda Mandalakaram, can you chant, please?
Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah.
Thank you, everyone. Srinivas Murtiji and Maneji joined a little late. So we have with us Vidyaji, Shardaji, and Shailaji, who have joined this group newly with Upadesa Saram. A warm welcome to everybody. So we have Babuji, Srinivas Babuji with us, and Maneji, Dayanand Maneji, and Srinivas Murtiji, who have been coming to this AVSC for a long time. So it's a pleasure to have all of you together to have an extended family, expanded family rather. And warm welcome. So the text that we are beginning from today is Upadesa Saram. I think Prabhuji has made it easy by giving talks on Upadesa Saram, the links of which we have shared. So typically AVSC session will consist of opening prayers, a discussion, and then the closing prayers with Nididhyasa or Vedantic meditation, and closing prayers finally. So let's would any of you like to say anything, Vidyaji, Shailaji, Shardaji, before we begin the actual thing, actual text? Murtiji, can you turn on the camera if possible? And if it's okay, please turn on your cameras so that discussions, if we see each other, discussions will be much better. But if you have constraints, there is no compulsion. Okay, if there is nothing to be added, let's begin then with the text itself. So we will take up the first 4 talks, and Prabhuji has made all the talks of Upadesa Saram short, so it's much easy for us to go through it. And once we have gone through it, we will come and share our understanding and also present questions if we have any doubts, or even if we want to highlight something, some specific point, we can state questions about it so that it will get into a discussion within the group. Now, anyone in the group, or rather everyone in the group, can answer and share their understanding of the questions asked in the group. Please do participate actively. Okay. So who will actually like to start? Who would like to start with the first talk of Upadesha Saram? The introduction.
Okay, yeah. May I do it?
Please.
Upadesha Saram is a Prakarana Grantha composed by Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. The circumstances under which Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi composed Upadesha Saram is an interesting story. Murugannar, a great Tamil poet and a great devotee of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, was composing Tamil poetry based on a legend from Skanda Purana. In that composition, he was narrating a story which goes on like this. In good old days, there was a thick forest full of Devadar trees called Darukavana. Devadaru is an Indian cedar found in Himalayas. Especially, you must have seen those trees when you have visited Shimla and other places in Himalayas. It is known to have a lot of multiple medicinal properties. A group of ascetics were leading a disciplined and austere life there, performing meditation and other rituals. They had acquired supernatural powers because of those rituals. They believed that the rituals they performed were of ultimate level in the spiritual path. They developed a sense of great pride in their siddhis. Now, Lord Shiva, known to reside in the Kailash nearby, uh, wanted to reorient them in the right path. So Shiva donned the guise of an young, bright mendicant. He came to Darukavana along with Vishnu, who had taken the form of a beautiful damsel, that is mendicant's wife. You see, mendicant is a religious order who do not stay in one place. They would not have their own place of residence, but move from place to place along with wife and small children and go on preaching the dharma and the religion, and also settle some of the minor problems that the people may have, and live on the whatever the people give it to them. This is mendicant. And this boy is a young boy, bright boy, with a beautiful wife. The ascetics there were enamored by the beauty of the mendicant's wife and went behind her. When they returned, so they saw that their wives were again enamored by the young bright mendicant. Now, on seeing their wives being having the glamour of this mendicant, so they became furious. Using their supernatural powers, they created thunderstorms and ferocious wild beasts to scare the mendicant away. But this mendicant remained fearless. He slayed the wild beasts, put living snakes around his neck. Now, the ascetics realized that the mendicant is much more powerful than them. So they requested him to reveal the secret of his immense powers. Now the mendicant replies, if I tell you how I got so much powers, you will follow it to get more powers. No end to that. It becomes endless. Instead of trying endlessly to get more and more powers, seek that which will give you infinite eternal bliss. So the ascetics realized their folly and requested Shiva to teach them the right path to liberation and the path to get established in that infinite eternal bliss. Murugan, or the poet, composed the Tamil poetry up to this point. Now he was about to write the teachings of the Shiva, but his pen stopped. He thought that Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, who was next to him, he was a devotee of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, and Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi he thought is the most eligible person to write that portion of the text. So he requested Bhagavan Ramana to compose that great teaching of Shiva. So thus, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi composed that great teaching of Lord Shiva, first in Tamil and later in Sanskrit, and called it Upadesa Saram. You see, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi has himself has called this Upadesa Saram, meaning essence of teaching, essence of all Vedantic teaching. This shows, which reveals the right path to liberation and also the path to get established in the infinite eternal bliss. Therefore, let us all give due importance to this text and follow the teaching of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi in an earnest way. This text contains 30 slokas. The first 6 of those slokas depict Karma Marga. The next 6 shows the Bhakti Marga. The next 2 show the path of Raja Yoga. And the last 16 slokas shows us the path of Sankhya Yoga. We will now quickly glance through the first 3 slokas of Karma Marga. And later,
let's pause here. Let's pause.
okay.
Here. Okay, and go around.
Yes.
The introduction first talk is finished, isn't it? That's we have covered, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful summary of the first talk, the introduction to the very text. Now let's go around. And first, of course, this is a story, but there is a message in the story as well about the mendicant or the young sannyasi with his beautiful wife. And then the other sages who have meditated for decades together and acquired siddhis or supernatural extrasensory powers and perception. And what is the lesson that Shiva had taught them? So what do we get from this story is the point that we can discuss. We can go around and let's give opportunity to the people who have joined newly, the Atma Jyotis who have joined newly. Would you like to share your understanding of the message that the introductory part is trying to convey? Yes, Vidyaji.
For me, even though you have so much spiritual practice and gain all these powers, still you have to, there's a lot more to go, especially with that ego of spiritual ego. That is the very hardest thing. That's what I understand.
Wonderful. So, with the acquisition of certain powers that come as a byproduct of meditation or any other spiritual practice, the ego also builds up. That's what Vidyaji is saying. Wonderful point. Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
have to still work on it to overcome the ego, however subtle it is. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Shailaji, Shardaji,
Hari Om.
any particular understanding?
Yeah, Hari Om. See, like these ascetics, like they work so hard to get the supernatural powers, but like within a what do you call what is that? Like no one escapes the what do you call like the worldly thing. Like it's their fall is just a moment by seeing this beautiful man or the wife. There, this one is gone. I think like within a second, like or the years of effort is gone.
Wonderful.
That is it.
Great. Actually, that's another nice point. However high the achievement is, we can easily slip back, slip down rather. Thank you very much. Shailaji, would you like to or
Hari Om, sir.
uh,
Here,
yes.
my little understanding is like the sages, whatever they gain, uh, the powers and other things, the GVs are also like that. Whatever desires it keeps on coming and it is endless. It is infinite, finite. So that is why Shiva teaches there are limitations for everything. So the finite thing, what is the blissful or peacefulness comes through going inwards, the Sakshi Bhava. And the ladies get attracted is the Maya of the world, whatever the GVs go outwards. So Shiva gives the message here to from outwards to inwards, towards the pure consciousness. That is my little understanding. Thank you.
So wonderful. From outwards to inwards, move from outwards to inwards. No thing. Anyone else? Maneji, Murtiji, Babuji. We have had a wonderful sharing by Vidyaji and Shardaji and Shailaji. Would anyone else like to share?
Yeah, the ascetics there were performing meditation and other rituals of the high order. They are all only karma. Karma will lead to only a ocean of karma, and it does not.
You are going already to the shlokas. Let's hold
Yes.
in your eagerness. Would you? No, there is nothing wrong in that. It is very valid. But then keep something for the shlokas. You already gone to the first shloka, second shloka.
Yes.
So I'll go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Let Babuji, would you like
No,
to
no,
share anything?
no,
Alla,
no,
ಹೇಳಿ,
no, sir. No,
ಹೇಳಿ.
no, whatever, really. Whatever.
Okay.
Okay. I
So
understood.
the Shiva says to the sages, the getting power, more power will not end. After getting some power, you want more and more and more. There is no end to this. So that will not achieve your ultimate goal. You should get a blissful life, a permanent happiness. That is the aim, or freedom. That is moksha. You have liberation. Those things are most important, and you should concentrate on that instead of these powers and other minor things in this petty world. So that is why Shiva teaches them how to get that ultimate realization, and it is not possible through karma also. In the next sloka, he says, this is my understanding.
Thank you, Babuji. Back to you. Would you like to share anything
No,
from the
no,
introduction?
no, sir. That's all. That's all.
Really, any other point you can get? I'm sure you'll
So
get
not,
many points. Hmm.
yeah. But at this
Murthy,
point of time,
huh?
I'm
Okay,
not.
Murthy ji, anything that you would like to share
Ravi,
on the introduction only, please?
in the introduction point of view, he appeared that Lord Shiva to say that whatever you do your puja or whatever the karma you do, it gives only a temporary happiness where you opt for some expectation. So, but the real inner happiness is within you, but you are just going outside to get it, but it is only a temporary. But actually, you should desire for the permanent bliss where it is within you. That's what the
Wonderful.
finally. Hmm?
So let's explore this point that when Shiva comes in the form of a youthful sannyasi, and how does his very advent expose the limitation of extra powers gained by the rishis through decades of meditation practices? The very incident of the advent of Shiva as a young sage with a beautiful wife, um, how does it expose the limitations of the sages? I mean, the powers of the sages. Anybody? It's a discussion. Would anyone like to share? It is in the introductory talk only, not. All right. Let's approach it from one more angle. Now, what happened when the rishis were upset and they tried to fight the young sage who was Shiva, who came in the form of a young sage with their powers? They created thunderstorms, they created a swarm of bees. And that's what the story says, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now that is obviously a tremendous uh, supernatural power when compared to powers of ordinary human beings, jivas like us. So, um, in the situation that emerged from that attack, using supernatural powers of meditation by the sages on the young sannyasi, what happened? Everybody is muted. Nobody would like to share. Vidya ji, Shaila ji,
No, like
Sharda
it's
ji.
just yes, it's just a futile. Like it's there will always be a super higher power than whatever
Mm,
is there. Like when you look at the creation also,
ah,
because that's why man is behind that. Whatever you see, like the salary I get is like I feel like it's more, but I always find the person who gets more salary than me, like with my qualification. So there will always be that one, like to just to show that, like what do you call, like you don't get satisfaction
wonderful.
from the
Great.
like.
So, however much powers I gain, or position I gain, or however much I achieve in life, there will always be many more people. At least one of them we can find, but we can find many more people who have achieved more than my my achievements, isn't it? That's one part very nicely brought out by uh, Shabdaji. Now, when Shiva says, if we go to the next point, when Shiva says, if I teach you how to get power, the powers I got, you will seek more power. There is no end to it.
Yeah.
Why? Why is there no end to it? I can expand to any limit, isn't it? Psychically.
The powers can be infinite.
Mm.
So we cannot reach that infinite power. We cannot gain it.
No, the powers can be infinite.
Yeah.
So why does Shiva say there is no end to the power? Which means, in another way, can we term it as no end to expansion of consciousness or thinking mind? So is there an end or no end to the expansion of the human mind or individual consciousness?
No end.
No, no. We have to give the reason why. There is Shiva made that statement. If I tell you how to get my powers, there is no end to your power, isn't it? Now you can't repeat what Shiva said. You have to tell why.
The end means I acquire some more power, let us say. Then
Ah,
I feel I have got more power than you. Then
mm,
somebody will get much more than that. So like this, it
okay.
goes on.
Hmm. So where is the limit? What is the limit, or where is the limit? Nice
But
point,
that
Mayaji.
does
Yeah, go ahead. Vidyaji, we want to say something.
There is no limit. It's empty
Why?
because we can't measure the vastness of this universe, and we
Ah,
don't know where is the end or anything.
wonderful. So is there a boundary we can see to the universe?
No,
Let alone the universe, even to the city that we live in.
no.
Ah, we can only see the boundary in the map. Physically, we can't see, isn't it? So if we go by trying to expand bigger or larger than myself as I am today, will I ever meet the end or fulfillment? Impossible, because what is the universe? Universe is Ishvara's creation. Ishvara is infinite. Agreed? So when Ishvara, or the Lord, the creator, is infinite, his creation, which is the form of Ishvara, is also infinite. Unlike the human creation, because the human being's intellect is finite, the creation or the invention by a human intellect, however grand it is also finite. Does that logic hold good? So when we seek not physical expansion, but psychological expansion, there is no limit, because the end to the universe or the boundary of the universe is never seen. We cannot put a boundary to the creator's work. So trying to acquire more powers, more acquisitions, whether it's physical power or psychological power, there will be no end, because the universe itself is vast. If we try to outsmart the universe, which is the form of a creator, it will mean that we are trying to outsmart Ishvara's intelligence, the creator's intelligence. Alva. So, first thing that we said, the advent of Shiva himself in the form of a young sage who showed that he was immune to the extra powers that the meditative sages had, is directly a lesson in limitation of the power, because whatever power I have individually, I will always find another person who has more powers than me. Second, even if I don't find anybody with another power because of my wherever I am, in the position I am, and I work on my expansion. Expansion here means expansion of individual consciousness. Even then, I will not achieve fulfillment in that direction, because there is no end to it. So when Shiva says, if I tell you my powers, you will never reach the end, it means that his powers are infinite indirectly, not reachable. Not reachable as an individual, as a jiva. All right. Any other sharing? Would you like to, anybody? So shall we move to the first shloka?
Shall we?
Yeah, please.
Select?
Can you please chant the first shloka?
Yeah. Karturagnaya prapyate phalam karma kim param karma tajjadam. Agneya, by the ordain of, by the decree of Kartru, the creator, prapyate, one attains phalam, the fruits of one's actions. Kim, how, karma, action, is param, is supreme. Tat karma, that action, jadam, is inert. By the order of, by the decree of the creator, fruits of actions are attained. How then can actions be supreme? No, actions are not supreme. Actions are inert. You see, kartru here, kartru ragneya. Kartru means karta, the doer. But here we understand kartru as the creator. So that is one thing to be taken note of. I'm handing over the forum to our mentor Vasuji to explain this.
No, we can discuss this. We can go one
Yeah.
round and discuss. You can share, Babuji. Please, if you want to pause, take and then resume sharing, take your time, relax, please.
Here, Kartru, doer, the creator, because individually we cannot do anything, even a small thing. Prabhuji says, like preparing a cup of tea, we require tea powder, milk, sugar, water, uh, heat, providing medium fuel for that, and the we do just mixing or heating and all these things. Even for doing any action, like even bending my little finger, I had to be breathing. My blood circulation, digestion, everything should be going on. I should be healthy. For me to breathe, there should be air. For air, stratosphere should be present. Earth should be present for the stratosphere, and for the Earth to be present, the sun should be there. The entire Milky Way should be there. The Virgo should be there. Laniakea should be there. The entire universe should be there. So the contribution of the universal's actions is very, very high compared to my contribution in preparation of tea. So here, that's why when it's here, it is Kartru means it is taken as the creator, that is Vishwadeva.
Yeah, here there is a question like why the action is termed as inert, but when the action is itself is like a movement,
Mm.
why it is
Huh. Why
treated as
is it
inert?
inert? What
Yeah.
would you what would you like to say, Sharda ji, about it? If you
Inert
just
means
think.
like yeah,
Go ahead, please.
yeah, like see, when from the point of view of the creator, the action of the jiva is inert, or like there
Mm,
is no part of jiva in doing the action.
okay. Yeah. The action of the jiva. Can
Hmm.
you can you share your understanding of what jiva means in your understanding?
Jiva is the individual consciousness.
Okay.
He, the jiva feels separate from the
So
creator
individual consciousness,
consciousness,
that is the individual consciousness that gets reflected in the
the
individual.
individual. Yeah.
All right. And the
Mm.
individual along individual consciousness, what makes action possible? Can individual consciousness act by itself? For example,
Yeah, like
if you
the
take
desires arise, like the when you take the actions, the desires arise, the
hmm,
vasanas,
hmm.
so that will propel the action.
Yeah. So that's the part. That's the desires. Um, the desires are required to act.
To
That
the,
is one. Hmm.
mm,
Okay. Then with the desires, only with the desires can the individual act? What makes actions possible? Desires are where
no, desires are in the mind, the
desires are in the
subconscious
mind.
mind.
So
Yeah, they keep.
can we have desires without action? Can
No,
desires remain
no,
as desires?
no. Like it's a cycle. Like that's what makes a jiva. Like we have action, then there is a result, then that
Hmm.
impression is stored, that will lead to
Hmm.
further action. So this
Correct.
is a cycle. This is a
It's a
cycle.
cycle.
So
the
why it is termed
question,
as inert, like I just.
all right. So that's what we are trying to get through that point. Now, do we, do we, all right. So if there is a thought or a desire, how many of our desires have resulted in in the fruits, in the fructification or realization of the desire?
It's very less
Yes.
unless we can
Okay,
take all that.
wonderful. So there is something, there is a desire, there's a thought that is required as a source for action, a starting point for action. But action cannot be achieved by thought alone, isn't it? Do you
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
we in agreement logically?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
what there is something that makes the thought get converted to action, results in an action. What makes the action complete? There is something else that makes the action complete.
Desire.
There's some
Desire ಅಂತ
support
ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಹೇಳಿ.
to take
Okay.
the action. We have the supporting medium.
What is the supporting medium?
The universe itself is the supporting medium. The universe itself is the supporting medium through
Okay.
different
There is thought,
agents.
there is thought, there is electricity. I mean, there is the medium. Does it result in an action? In
It's a will.
individual action. We are not talking of the river flowing, the sun shining, the air, moving. That is a universal action. Here, the question, Shardaji's question is individual action.
It's the
Yeah.
willing.
Now, the limitation that the first sloka is talking about is karma kim param karma tajjadam. Which karma? Individual's karma. Individual's action is limited and it is inert, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
This
there is
that part.
something needed to complete the action of an individual apart from the desire or the thought.
No,
I
like
will.
only those actions which can fructify, that will only happen.
Correct.
Like the phala, what is there, like
Okay.
result.
So let's say there is electricity.
Mm.
What is needed for electricity to turn into light?
Instrument,
What is that instrument?
that's the bulb or
Bulb.
the
Okay.
resist. Yeah.
All right. So there is a source of action, which is the desire and the thought. What is the instrument that is required for action to convert thought into action in the case of an individual?
Yeah, that's the body mind
Ah,
complex that is needed,
so
and the intellect.
now action happens through the body mind complex,
Mm.
which is physically the physical body. Action happens through the physical body, right?
Mm.
Now, is the body unlimited or limited?
It's limited. It's
Is
limited.
the body inert or active?
It's active.
Active when? By itself?
No, no. When the Chaitanya,
Ah,
yeah, the
physical body, matter.
Mm.
The body is matter, no?
Mm.
Is it inert or is it alive? Matter by itself, body by itself.
Matter by itself is not alive. Yeah, like something.
So
Yeah, the
now
Chaitanya needs.
there is now the matter, the bulb by itself, will it give light without electricity?
No, electricity has to flow. yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
So, body by itself is inert. It is, if we have to use a very harsh word, it is dead matter.
Mm,
Mm. But it gains sentience. It's given life by consciousness.
mm,
Alva.
mm,
Mhm. Now, unless the universal consciousness reflects in the reflecting media of the individual is a dead matter. So, when the instruments of action are inert, by action also becomes inert because the individual is not the doer. Who is the doer?
mm,
Who is the provider of electricity?
mm,
The electric current. I mean, who is the provider of light in the bulb?
mm,
No doubt, electricity uses the bulb.
mm,
So, for an action, two things are required: consciousness and instrument of action.
mm,
In between, of course, we add human desire through the mind. Now, when the instrument of action is inert, how can action be enlivened or supreme?
in that sense, yeah. Mm, okay.
So, karma can mean action. Karma can also mean the karmic impressions, sanchita, prarabdha, agami, the three aspects, that which comes to us, the fruits of or karma can also mean, it's my karma. What do we say? It means
Mm,
it's the fruit of what I have done. So it can mean multiple things. By and large, in all ways, karma is inert because karma is powered by the source, which is consciousness.
mm,
Everything downstream from the reflected consciousness, intellect, body, mind, and the objects of the world, all of them are considered objects
mm,
in Vedanta.
mm,
Why? Because we can perceive them. Anything that we can see are objects. Now, if we consider body as an object, is it inert or is it uh, is it sentient?
Inert only.
mm,
So all objects are inert. But because of the presence of individual consciousness or reflected consciousness, both, we are using both of them as synonyms. They are, body gets sentience, body becomes alive, mind gets the ability to think, intellect gets the ability to decide, decision making, body gets the ability to act, kartru, the ability to act, the doership action, bhoktru, the ability to experience, which happens in the mind, and gnatru, the ability to know, the knower, which is the intellect. All of these have one common requirement, that consciousness must get reflected in
mm,
the reflecting medium, which is the mind or the
mm,
intellect, buddhi. It is termed buddhi, essentially means antahkarana, which is a combination, but let's take it as the intellect.
mm.
Any other points of understanding in this regard? Please share. Anybody else?
Thank you, Vasuki.
Actions give happiness or unhappiness. Even when it gives happiness, it is temporary and sustains only for a limited time. It cannot give eternal bliss. So that's why it is also called as inner.
Very nice. Thank you, Mamuji. Any other points of view or understanding on this? Nice, very nice question. Now there is another reason why actions, like Babuji said, fruits, because they are limited, fruits of actions are also limited, isn't it? Hmm? We are talking of Jiva's action. Now, what makes the fruit of action limited? One is the instrument, the limitation of the instrument. Can the body's power be infinite? No. Can the mind's power, energy be infinite? Sometime it will get tired or bored, it wants to sleep. Can we be enthusiastic all the time about anything, even about our hobbies? No. Or can we analyze, think all the time? Can the intellect be operating at peak efficiency all the time? No. So there is something that contributes to the result. I mean, what are the factors that contribute to the result? Let's approach it that way. Whether we take an office situation, career, or home, or even social circles, anything. What contributes to the outcome of our action?
The jiva can do only karmas,
Mm.
but the result is not like in its hand, in jiva's
Okay.
hand.
Wonderful, Shailaji.
Everything results like the situation or like if you take an student writing an exam, like if he does well also, the mind of a person who is doing the correction, or after the correction, when the result comes out, that also maybe some variations in that. So all count. So Bhagavan says, the GV's point of view, like GV should do karma, but the fruits, whatever fruits come, that comes from the universe, the Lord. He knows what to give.
In what way? Correct. In how does it?
Uh,
In how does?
like whatever intention he has, if he does any karma, like if he is helping anybody else, it is in Bhagavan, like everything is surrendered to the Lord. In that state of mind, if he does, so that will be that fruit also he will get. Or if his intention is some other thing, like to get name and fame, that result also he may get. It depends.
Okay,
Maybe.
so whatever one gets out of a result of one's action, it is limited, isn't it? It's not infinite. It is finite.
Finite.
Right? So, what makes it finite? One is, of course, the limitation of the instrument of action that we have seen. Is that all?
Because the jiva thinks I am doing, the ego, I.
Okay, so there is a what? How does it limit it? In what way does the limitation come? In what form does that I am doing limitation take to the action?
Maybe due to the ignorance also.
Uh-huh. So
Chaitanya Bhava, if he is in Chaitanya,
the energy will get limited, no? I am doing is a sense of enthusiasm, superiority, ownership, doership. How much energy can I put into action as an individual?
that is also limited. Limitation.
So even the doership, the greatest of the intentions as as a separate individual, hmm, that is limited. But there is one more factor that should not be overlooked. It came as an explanation by Babuji in the first introduction.
Pure Chaitanya, pure consciousness.
Uh, who made tea?
Who made tea?
He
Yes, sir,
said.
I got.
So there are there are there are factors external to the individual effort that that aids in converting action to the result. Is there only one force that is my individual effort that is going into action?
No, sir.
Suppose we are going in a car. Is it only the engine power that drives the car at a certain speed?
No,
The wind resistance also contributes. The friction between the tire and the road will contribute. So if we start counting, my attention as a driver of the car and pressing the throttle or the brake is what component as an individual effort. It is just one of the many components.
a part of it.
Not part, one of them, correct, part of the many, one of the many forces acting on the car, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, for an action to happen, is there only one force, one energy that is my effort?
No.
There are
Ah,
multiple.
multiple, what do we call?
Infinite number of external factors.
So what happens? All of these multiple forces, for a result to happen, what should happen to those multiple forces? Okay. If um, uh, let's take the mobile phone. Do we agree that the mobile phone signal is everywhere, all over? From the antenna, it goes everywhere in the space, right? Of course, within a given range. Now, what makes those mobile signals actually, when do they help you get in a conversation with your friend or colleague or your spouse or child? Everywhere microwave energy or signals are scattered, isn't it? All right, TV signals are everywhere. Is it only in your TV? It's there from the satellite dish everywhere. So what makes your TV beam pictures?
It's its ability to catch those waves.
The Go ahead, Vidyaji. Yeah.
We need to tune into that signal.
Tune in, But fundamentally, tuning means what? Those signals must converge into that point of action for the TV to beam pictures, isn't it? If they diverge, the signals are everywhere, they are divergent. What does tuning do? It makes it converge into the point of action. So when do we get the result? We get the result when my individual effort and the environment's forces converge at a point. In the axis of action. If my action is to go from point A to point B, and there's a wind blowing somewhere and that takes it from point B along the line, there is a line between point A and point B, the starting and the destination. So what is the result that will come? It will come at the convergence of all the forces along with all the external forces, along with my individual effort. My effort is called Purushartha. External, quote unquote external. All the universal's effort. And the other forces that come and act, what are they in general? There are many
Ishvara.
forces, but a few of them converge. Isn't it? If all the forces converge, what happens? What will happen? The action will blast. Does it happen practically and experientially? No, isn't it? Out of infinite compassion to the individual, the Creator converges a few forces of the infinite number to the extent that the jiva can handle. And what is that called? What is that convergence called?
Deva.
Not jiva. In terms of result, action and result. We are talking of action and result. You can give many names.
Grace. Grace.
Okay, grace, but from the individual perspective,
No, from the Ishvara or the universe.
Ishvara, grace is the underlying thing, yes.
It is the prarabdha karma.
Wonderful. Isn't it so?
Yeah. Yeah.
If I have all the intention and it is not there in my prarabdha to get that result, will it converge?
It won't converge.
So the result is a culmination of, or a convergence of individual effort and prarabdha. In other words, multiple forces converging at one point according to my own deed. And what is prarabdha? Is it all of the karma?
No.
What
No, it's
happens if
a
I...
part of the, sorry.
Why does Ishvara give a part of the karma? Because I can't handle all of it together at one time. Isn't it Ishvara's compassion, Guru's compassion, that he gives only little by little? Does a mother pump in all the food in the plate to the child's mouth at one time? He will give little by little, isn't it? To the extent that the little child can chew. We are all like children. We can chew only a little bit of karma. We can't chew more than that. So our sanchita is huge, but prarabdha is in quantities and quality to the extent that we can handle, and that is given by the intelligence of Ishvara, who knows how much each individual can handle. And therefore, limited result is not a limitation. It's a compassion of Ishvara. Isn't it so? If we wanted infinite results, then all the sanchita should have collapsed into the axis of individual effort and action. Now, prarabdha can converge later or earlier along the force of action, isn't it? So, fruits may get delayed or come earlier. Quantity and time both can get altered. But the important thing to note is when individual effort, at the point at which individual effort meets our own prarabdha karma, which appears as other forces in nature, there is the result, both in quality and quantity. Any questions, any other points of view, please share. So what constitutes the result is no doubt individual effort plus our own karma.
We are limited as it is because of prarabdha, we are limited. But even though we are limited, our intention is to get a bliss. That is a permanent bliss. That is a inner. But we don't know that the bliss is inside. We always opt for outside. Then we do karma, whatever is through vasana, and thinking that we get, of course, for that, whatever the result comes, good or bad, so we feel, if it comes good, we feel that we are happy. So, but again, that will not stay for long period. Again, we jump from one desire to other desire to other desire, but ultimately, our inner, this one is that, that you are, instead of limited, you want to become unlimited to get everything. Then the inner force is to get to know or to enjoy that absolute bliss. But we are because of agnana, we don't know that bliss is inside. We always opt for outside. That's why we do a hard work, whatever the prarabdha karma, and thinking that I will be happy with the external objects. But in reality, it is inside. That is the main, that is the actual thinking should go in this line. That is what. Okay.
Wonderful. Yes, so nicely summed up the very first sloka. Why is karma limited? So it is obviously limited. So because we are going on in a cycle, never-ending cycle. Shailaji, any thoughts, any understanding, or any questions on this part?
Thank you. Clear.
Vidyaji?
No.
Maneji, would you like to share anything?
No, all individuals try to get the happiness outside. It's a common view of everybody. Uh, None of us know initially that the bliss and happiness is within us. So we never take our mind inward. We always make it outside, and even the indriyas are made like that to focus outside only. So by practice of this sadhana only, we have to change our views and come back inward to get that treasure. It is not available outside. That is the firm understanding one should get and reverse our actions.
Thank you, Maneji. Yeah, Vidyaji wanted to say something. I think, did you unmute and want to say something? Babuji, any other thoughts, any other ideas?
No, sir. You have beautifully explained everything.
Okay, so we are nearing the end. So what we can do is we can, instead of starting the second shloka, we have 10 minutes left. We can close with the closing prayers and do the nididhyasa and end. Or shall we do that? Is everyone okay?
Okay, okay, Vasuji.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
I'll start.
yeah, I start with Asatoma Sadgamaya.
Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Any of Vidyaji, Shailaji, or Shardaji, would you like to chant Purnamadaha? Anyone, please?
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते
Vidyaji, Shardaji, would you like to chant Atma Darshanam? Would you know?
Atmadarshanam, Brahmadarshanam, Brahmadarshanam, Satyadarshanam.
I don't know any of that mantras.
All right. Murthy thank you. What we'll do is we'll publish the prayers in the group, opening prayers and closing prayers. We can look at it. Vicky, Murthy can you just chant Maha Mantra?
अंतर्ज्योति बहिर्ज्योति प्रत्यज्योति परात्परा ज्योतिरेव ज्योति स्वयं ज्योति आत्मज्योति शिवोऽहम्
Om Nanu Nanembudu Nanalla Ideha Manabuddhi Nanalla Satchidanandatma Shivananu Nane Shivoham Shivoham Shivoham. I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect, I am existence, consciousness, bliss. I am Shiva, Shiva I am, Shivaya. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om.